And a good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios out in Inlet Beach. Meteorologist Dan Nyman hanging out on the other side of town, and it was a warmer Monday here on this Groundhog Day, Dan.
Yeah, you could actually get outside at some points here today. Obviously, we had the nice sunshine outside of the shade. I didn't think it felt all that bad, although still probably we're doing with a layer or two of clothes on as temperatures still sit below average.
Yeah, that was the thing. I did walk down to the beach today to just kind of check it out. Water was absolutely gorgeous, but the big thing that I noticed was that the wind was on shore. And that, while it was still cool today, that let me know that the warmer weather is on the way. We will feel it, well, not only tonight, but especially into tomorrow.
Yeah, warmer weather on the way, although some rodents don't think so. We've had a big news this morning, Chris. 6 more weeks, apparently, if you like to believe in that sort of stuff.
My favorite part of this, though, was, so Dan and I, we talked about this last night. We met up for dinner, and Dan's like, I have this graphic, or he had this graphic made for social media. And so I knew I would be up because I have kids. I was like, there's no way Dan's going to be up. So he had all these different versions. And then sure enough, he had set an alarm to check and post, to post whichever one it was. I don't know if he didn't trust me to do it, but I still chuckled that, did you go back to bed?
No, that was it. I had 4 graphics made because there were 4 possible outcomes, 2 groundhogs, and then I sat there diligently at 6 o'clock this morning and made sure to see the predictions from both Phil and Beauregard Lee. And they need to get a move on with that ceremony. I was just sitting there waiting to find out what it was going to be. And there was all this fanfare, and I just wanted to post so that I could get back to life.
Yeah, and General Lee's a little trickier. I mean, Phil's Phil. They got that down. General Lee's a little loosey-goosey as far as the correct information trickling out.
I'm not sure he saw a shadow, too. I think the whole thing's a farce. He didn't speak.
Oh, man. But, yeah, they both said 6 more weeks of winter. Now, the interesting thing of this is that, according to NOAA, Phil is 35% accurate. Now, that's all Dan knows is, I think there might be one up in New Jersey, too. But, Phil's the one, especially for northern people. But us in the south, we hang on for dear life because Phil is always saying 6 more weeks of winter, while General Lee is much more likely to say an early spring. But, yeah, to both of them, gone.
If you can stall for another 15 seconds, I have a great piece of information to drop in for you.
Oh.
So just find something to talk about in the amount of time it takes to save this file from Photoshop.
Okay. But, yeah, so General Lee and Joe Moore, God bless him, used to talk about the Wausau possum. And that we needed to drag out the Wausau possum to see whether it saw its shadow, so we could get a better prediction for us here in Northwest Florida. Because I mean, maybe we have a groundhog. Do they got a groundhog down at Zoo World or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. There were several at my parents' house just under the floor.
Yeah. Well, so my wife was talking about there was some post somewhere that that it was they posted a capybara.
Yeah, that was Matt Lawbon.
Yeah. Oh, it was Matt.
Yes.
Which my wife was in they're cuter anyway. I like them, which took the conversation off the rails as to what the point was, which is that it's Groundhog Day.
Oh, I just feverishly typed while we were stalling there for a second. There's the information. The NOAA,
Okay.
for lack of better things to do, have graded all groundhogs, and there were some statues on the list too. I removed those; they don't count. It has to be a living animal. But these were 12 groundhogs that they've been grading for the last 20 years, as far as the accuracy of the prediction of whether they said early spring or 6 more weeks of winter, and then it compared that to whether generally the country was warmer or colder than average. That's the caveat too to this all, Chris. Is like some places probably will be colder than normal for the next 6 weeks. Some places will be warmer. But there you go. Staten Island Chuck actually takes the trophy, but our resident Southeastern Conference groundhog is certainly a far more formidable opponent for actual weather predictions than Punxsutawney Phil could ever claim to be. He's basically dead last, tied for last, 35% accuracy. So, we're putting all of our weight into what is effectively the worst groundhog out of the list. Buckeye Chuck is significantly better. 60%, he's basically the GFS model as far as accuracy is concerned.
It is on my to-do list. I mean, the movie is awesome, Groundhog Day, and I'm a weatherman. So, I feel, and I grew up, not far from Punxsutawney. I feel like I need to go back at some point and at least experience the whole thing. But yeah, it was Groundhog Day, my friends. Watch the movie tonight and enjoy 6 more weeks of winter and early spring. I'm still leaning towards an early spring.
One last fun fact before we move on. What time gates open to see Phil on Groundhog's Day?
This is probably why I'll never go. Is it
this is exactly why you're not going to be there.
Disney bad?
Well, he comes out at sunrise, but you got to get the food and drinks in first. So gates opened this morning at 3:00 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure I'm that invested.
Oh no, that's.
I'll catch it on Facebook next year like I did this time.
It was 7 degrees this morning or something like that, wasn't it?
The wind chill was -7.
Okay, it was 5 with the wind chill of -7. That's what it was.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
You could see Phil's breath. He was to talk to us.
Oh, my goodness.
Moving on.
Okay, so questions. Do we need to drip or not drip? No, you don't need to drip. We'll be plenty warm tonight. The flamingo seer shadow. I like that one. Let's see. Thank you very much, Miss Laura. Thank you. When will it be safe to uncover my windmill palm from freezing? Well, Doug, a lot of that depends upon where you live. Are you at the coast or are you inland? Because tonight we'll flirt with freezing inland. And then I think we could flirt with freezing Friday morning, I think as well.
Yeah.
So, but not necessarily down at the coast. Josie, I got you, babe. That's right. Oh man, what a great week. Okay, let's go ahead and get down to business here. We'll let's see. Donna, you're very welcome. Margaret, you're very welcome. Bad storm come Wednesday. I don't know if it'll be bad, but it will rain Wednesday. Temperatures this morning started off low 20s for a lot of folks. 18 in Bluntstown. We were at about 25, 26, 27 on the coastline. We got a lot of great pictures from, look at, this is Lynnhaven Bayou there. And if you look carefully, there's a glaze of ice on the bayou. More than a glaze here from Matthew over into Weewa. Look at that. Look at the playground there, just all coated in ice. Now, my friends, that is fun. And over into the Dead Lakes, you can see there's an icy glaze there as well. And Econfina Creek, definitely not walking across it, but it's ice, and it's in Florida. So pretty amazing. And Nisa in Bluntstown, look at the fountain there in the square. It was a cold start, and we appreciate all those photos that you all sent us today. And you can keep them coming in the Panhandle weather app right there. Meanwhile, high temperatures today. It was still way below average for this time of year. We should be about 64 or so, and we were into the mid 50s is about where we got today. But we'll take it. Compared to the past few days, it was. We were in the Speedos today. Meanwhile, look, a little bit of daylight still holding on through. Look up at the top of the screen there, south-southwest at 6. That's the key thing. that onshore wind is going to give us a big range in temperatures tonight, from 40s at the coast to probably close to freezing inland. You'll see 49 over into Panama City. But again, there you see that onshore wind blowing, that yellow flag over at Pineapple Willie's, continuing to show that that moisture is now beginning to return across northwest Florida, and that's going to lead to these milder temperatures tonight. Still, not warm enough for anyone to get out there and be dining outside this evening over at Sharky's. Temperatures right now currently into the 40s and 50s. When you look compared to 24 hours ago, this is what we're looking at: 11, 12, 10, 7, 9 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. When we look at the winds, there you see, there's the onshore winds. You look at the streamlines there showing the winds moving from the coast inland. Now, the winds are still very light, so again, this moisture won't find its way too terribly far inland, but nonetheless, it is heading in that direction. These southwesterly winds will bring in the moisture, and they'll continue to increase as we head through the night tonight and on into the daytime on Tuesday. And so eventually that's going to get us up into the 60s. But then look at Tuesday afternoon, the winds begin to pick up a little bit, and that increases the moisture more, and that will eventually lead to our next weather maker, which comes in tomorrow night. So low temperatures tonight across our area, freezing inland with 40s along the coastline, with the rest of the not as frosty details, at least for some of us. We go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Yep, the big question tonight, it seems, do we need to drip or not? Looking better, of course.
Nope.
Temperatures are cool, but they're not into that hard freeze neighborhood. If you get to freezing tonight, it's not for nearly long enough to cause any pipe issues in the Panhandle, so we can take that regimen out of the daily routine for now. We'll keep an eye out for temperatures to drop by Friday, but right now, Chris, they're not looking nearly as cold as anything we dealt with early on this week or in through the weekend, of course. Your neighborhood forecast kind of tells the story. Beaches, 40s for temperatures, all the way through Pensacola there, 42 degrees. Inland, 35 degrees, obviously not freezing, perhaps some frost on the ground as you get right up along the Alabama-Florida border. However, as you get into Bay County, it's the same sort of story. 40s, mid-40s along the coastline, get up towards ECP, or about 37 degrees, basically summer compared to where we were just 48 hours ago in the morning hours. As you get down towards the Forgotten Coast, a similar story. Out on the Cape, nearly 50 degrees, down to 31 up towards Weewa. You'll notice in along the Apalachicola River Basin, slightly colder temperatures, and you'll see here into northern Liberty County up towards Hosford, or as you get further east towards Tallahassee, there are certainly some low-lying spots that are typical cool spots, which might spend 4 or so hours down below freezing, but even there, I think dripping would be more precautionary than something you absolutely have to do, because the time spent below freezing, if you get there, is not all that long. Up towards Jackson County, temperatures right down to about 32 degrees, but as you get further west, you get into where that onshore flow is maybe a little more persistent. 33, 34, 35 degrees is going to be a very comfortable start to the day, all things considered, given where we've been over the last few days. Radar right now, of course, all quiet. Didn't see a whole lot by cloud coverage moving on through. As you look across the country, things continuing to be that same sort of idea. Underneath of the banner, sure, some snow showers, a few flurries up through the Great Lakes region, but things quiet for us right now. You will see a couple of clouds starting to ride on up, a little more moisture within that subtropical jet across the Gulf Coast, and perhaps cloud cover returning as you get through Tuesday. And then for Wednesday, of course, your rain chances are going to return. Doesn't look like it's going to be an overly impactful rain event, but certainly one that could have the showers in and out of your neighborhood at times on Wednesday. As far as tomorrow goes, a little more prolonged time frame with the onshore winds, so a low-end risk of severe weather as you get through East Texas, across parts of Louisiana, and even into the western portions of Mississippi, also southern Arkansas included within there too. Cold front starts to take shape, produces showers and thunderstorms over there. We get cloud coverage ahead of the front, and then as you wake up Wednesday morning, you're already seeing some showers, possibly a rumble of thunder, although unlikely, sliding across the Panhandle here. Temperatures will be starting to warm up around that time frame, but we're not talking about anything overly warm to raise the alarm bells, although you'll see here there could be a decent dose of rainfall through the western Panhandle, and things kind of do collapse as the day goes onward, so don't expect it to be a rain-filled day. Maybe just a couple of hours if you get rainfall that you see it. and otherwise clouds, pretty nice feel until that front passes as you get through Wednesday on into Thursday. That's when cloud coverage starts to shift, and we'll gradually work our way back towards what is once again a cooler than average weather pattern. But like we've been talking about, Chris, this time around, cooler than average doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a disaster across the Panhandle. Just typical winter stuff, not going to make any headlines. Return potentially to maybe some more freezing temperatures in the morning and then slightly cool temperatures through the afternoons as we get closer towards the weekend.
Yeah, and I think folks will like seeing that, as we show like those 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day outlooks, and you always have to take them with a grain of salt. But I was at least a little happy, maybe it was wish casting, or that there was some of this color on the map down here. There's above average temperatures for as we head towards the middle part of the month. So we stay hopeful for that.
Yeah, if you summarize things, it's like maybe a 35% chance that we're around normal and then another 35% chance that we're above normal. Add those up, I think we're looking pretty good by mid-February. Probably not done with cold fronts like we said on Facebook this morning, but a break at least is on the way. We'll have more on that in a few minutes.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
When it comes to building, local experience matters. At Mid-South Lumber, our team knows the job, and we'll help you get it right the first time. From weekend DIY projects to full custom builds, you'll get solid materials, fair prices, and service you won't find at a big box store. That's why we're the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber. Shop local. Build with confidence. Let's quote your next project today.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 2.99% APR on a new Camry, named Best New Model by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla, designed to wow from the inside out. Get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
Okay, and a good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Smith here out in Inlet Beach and over in town as we gather on this chilly, although not as cold, evening across Northwest Florida.
Yeah, Jessica was in the chat during the break there, Chris, mentioning that Phil's been predicting for much longer, since 1886, so he's had more chances for a miss. And I'll give you that, although I might be able to argue you've had more chances to learn how to get it right.
More experienced.
He's a very experienced groundhog, but he is a cute groundhog. I like groundhogs. It might be an unpopular opinion, but we had one out back for years that would always eat the leftover watermelon, and he was a pretty fun guy to be around. There's my redneck story of the day.
That's fantastic. My mom grew up in a state park for a number of years, and they had a woodchuck that would come in and raid the bread box in the house. Now, I'm not sure, I feel like a woodchuck and a groundhog, they have to be related to one another, like cousins or something?
I was going to say they might just be pretty much the same thing.
I don't know. My wife was, she likes capybaras, so they're the hot item now, so We'll see. We'll get either that or the Wausau possum or whatever to, that can be our groundhog that we look at for whether it'll be an early spring here in the Panhandle. Let's take
I like the possum idea.
Yeah, I do too. I think that would be fantastic. And then that enables them to expand out like the Possum Festival. You know, it gives them another event over the course of the year. This is about branching out and expanding your brand, Wausau. Come on.
It's all about brand building in 2026. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Sponsored by Panhandle Weather.
Just invite us out. We want to be grand marshals at the parade. Okay, here's what's going on. We had a beautiful, the last few nights, we've had a gorgeous moon. It's the full snow moon. Technically, it was fullest at like 4 something yesterday, but nonetheless, Saturday it was putting on quite the show. And you see the deer there if you look carefully in the foreground. But it will also be gorgeous this evening as well. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. Our next full moon does not come up until March the 3rd at 5:37 in the morning. We want to thank the Yoopers for sending in this picture of some smoke from a prescribed burn out over at the Conservation Park. And there were prescribed burns pretty much everywhere today. If you drove for more than about 10 miles, you saw some smoke like my wife did in South Walton. This was in Point Washington State Forest. They had a prescribed burn there. We always like for you to do that, and it's always good to get pictures to verify what's going on. We were also able to see all these on radar as well, and just kind of circling all over the place, all these fires showing up. Thankfully, none of those that we needed to be concerned about. They were all prescribed. Destin this evening, as we mentioned, onshore winds developing, and that's going to lead to milder temperatures. So the dew point temperatures are rapidly increasing, especially near the coastline across northwest Florida. There you go. We could use that giraffe down at Coconut Creek Family Fun Park. That could be we'll look for a shadow there next year. Panama City Beach, 49, winds coming onshore. This is from the chateau looking off towards the south and west. And meanwhile, this camera here, I posted a picture right before the show. A gorgeous sunset this evening as viewed from St. Andrews there looking over towards the port. So our forecast headlines tonight, it will be chilly, but it will be a little bit warmer. We'll see the inland areas will flirt with freezing. Coastal locations will be way up into the 40s. We'll see some showers on Wednesday, then a cool down for Thursday and Friday before we warm it up again as we head into the weekend. So our forecast for this evening, we're going to end up seeing temperatures tonight across our area dropping down through the 30s, and we'll end up going down to about 32 degrees for some inland areas. But as Dan was telling you, this isn't anything that you need to be concerned with as far as like pipes or anything like that. A plant issue, yes, perhaps, but pipes not. You're not going to be below freezing long enough for that to be any kind of concern. Very light winds right along the coastline, and that moisture will continue to increase. Now, those winds do start to increase a little bit on Tuesday, and that's going to pump in the moisture from the Gulf leading into our next weather maker, which will approach from the west. And look at the arrows. Here we go. Wednesday morning, they start to move in, and over the course of the day on Wednesday, winds turn out of the northwest, and guess what? We cool it down once again, but it won't be anywhere near as cold as this last cold spell. I do think it gets inland areas below freezing, but right now, it doesn't look like coastal locations will see freezing temperatures. We'll keep an eye on it, though. So you see the moisture continuing to increase here over the next 24 hours. Moisture coming in from the Gulf and spreading across all of our area. The rainfall holding off, though. You may notice more cloud cover tomorrow. There'll be more moisture, but nothing in the way of any rainfall until at least while you're sleeping Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So lows, again, freezing or in the ballpark of Chipola River Valley and I-10 corridor. But look at these coastal temperatures, 44, 47, 45, 41, all quite a bit warmer. Kids heading to school on Tuesday, mid-30s near the coast, mid-30s to start the day, and then we'll top out into the mid to upper 60s. So tomorrow will be a solid 10 plus degrees warmer than it was today. So again, pretty significant. And there you see those temperatures, 67, 68, 67, very comfortable. That will actually be at to above average for this time of year. Low temperatures Wednesday morning, 40s and 50s. So quite a bit warmer. So nowhere close to freezing. And then especially along the coastline, again, nowhere close to it. It will be very mild. Temperatures Wednesday won't be quite as warm as Tuesday because we'll see rain moving through, and that front will begin to come through and turn our winds out of the north and west. So plenty of freezing temperatures today from the mid-Atlantic down through the peninsula of Florida. But for us, we were, of course, well below average, and those below average temperatures will continue to kind of slide to the east as we get a tongue of warmer weather on westerly winds heading in our direction. Freezing temperatures up into the Carolinas through Georgia and down through the peninsula. For our neck of the woods, inland areas could freeze. Coastal locations will definitely not freeze. But the reason why, and what you'll see tomorrow, will be the south and southwesterly wind beginning to bring in that moisture. And again, that's why it's not going to freeze tonight at the coast. And eventually this will lead to clouds and our next chance of rainfall, which will be here on Wednesday. And we'll have about a 90% chance of rainfall on Wednesday. You'll see as high pressure begins to move off to the east, here comes your front. That begins to push down across our neck of the woods. And for more on the timing of the rain and how much we can expect, let's go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Yeah, as I drop my phone there, things, of course, going to take a little bit of a turn here through the midweek part of the forecast, but all in all, not a huge weather event for us across the area. Morning showers in the western Panhandle, midday hours as you get right through the 231 corridor, and perhaps the early afternoon further east than that. But rainfall amounts from this very quick hit of rain showers slide on through. It keeps it pretty low. And behind that, you see the northwesterly wind. Skies clear for Thursday and on into Friday. At that point, though, we will start to see temperatures take a little reversal to back below average. Rain amounts, though, still not significant, a little higher than the past few events, but you're still looking here at maybe 1/10 of an inch in the lower end of things, and then those lucky enough to get the bulk of the rain showers might inch up closer to 1/4 or say 1/2 an inch of rainfall, but not everybody's going to get that much. Once again, not a drought-busting system. By this weekend, the cold weather already behind us, so it's another quick spurt of cooler temperatures, but high pressure filters in behind it. You've got 60 Saturday and Sunday with a northwesterly wind that will be pretty light in nature. You'll notice as this pattern evolves, you get that quick trough for Wednesday and Thursday. There's your shot of cooler air coming from the northwest, but then look at this. You start to see the colors of yellow starting to return across the Gulf Coast. A little ridge of high pressure will build in, and we should start to inch our way back towards warmer weather this weekend. The pattern turns zonal for early next week, and we'll kind of be out of this procession of front after front. It's been cold for several weeks in general. Doesn't look like we're going to be settling back into a pattern quite like that, at least within the current long-range forecast. A lot of events happening this weekend. The ones happening on the weekend should be pretty nice. Still a little chillier, though, and a little blustery outside as you get through the Friday events. Mardi Gras and St. Andrews, for example, temperatures in the 50s, but windy out there, so a wind chill will knock temperatures down just a bit. Saturday, though, back into the 60s with a lot of sunshine and clear skies out there for the evening hours, too. The Golden Retriever meetup, rescheduled for Saturday. Full sunshine this time, which was similar to last time, although temperatures no longer expected to feel like 24, more like 64 by noon. And the 60s continue through the afternoon, so a much better weekend for that. Your temperature trend in general, we're seeing the right improvements. Colors are a lot more yellow here than they were blue and purple, and you'll see that as temperatures sit right at or just a little warmer than average as we get through the next 7 days. Not looking at as many freeze concerns either. We really just have Friday morning to watch for that, and that probably Highway 20 and I-10, where temperatures are going to be actually a concern for maybe dripping faucets right up along I-10 and areas north, but the coast stays well clear of a freeze, at least right now, in behind that front. And look at the long-range forecast here. Now you're seeing across the country larger swath of warmer than average temperatures. This is the 6 to 10 day forecast outlook, so a little cooler than average across the coast there at the East Coast, but for us, we're in a transitional phase here, moving out of the cooler than average conditions, near normal as we get in through the early part of this window, potentially above normal temperatures as we get closer towards the middle part of the month. At least if you kind of sum together the probability of temperatures being at normal or above normal, there's about a 70% chance, if not a little higher, of temperatures being pretty warm, especially when you compare it to where things have been as of late. We should be feeling pretty good as we get into that long-range window in the forecast. And that brings you to the 7-day forecast. Really just that one chance of rain for Wednesday. It is a pretty high chance, but it won't last long in any given location. Temperatures do drop behind that. You'll notice the bottom dropping out Wednesday night into Thursday. The afternoon Thursday on the cooler side, but it doesn't take a long time for us to respond. Inland areas could feel pretty good this weekend. We even got 70 there by Monday, upper 60s through the weekend. A whole lot of sunshine to look forward to as well. So things improving quickly for us here. We have certainly put the worst of the winter behind us. I was doing some research while you were talking, Chris. Charles had asked, he tells everybody there's 2 seasons, summer and January, which is pretty much spot on. And when do you predict the last frost? I'm not confident enough to be like the groundhog and throw a 6-week prediction out, but I did look. Mariana, Tafuniak Springs, Apalachicola, the average final frost of the year, so the average temperatures in 37, 38 degree range is about March 22nd, yes, February 13th. But on the flip side of that, there has been a frost as late as May 6th. So a pretty large window to work within, but we're not far away here, folks, from things not only being warmer, but like the humidity is going to be here before you know it too. And it's going to be a very different feel outside.
And I had one, like right before the big cold spell, I came out and like my car was covered in pollen.
Yeah.
The pine pollen. So, you know, it'll be back this weekend. And probably like pine trees are like, yeah, I'm going to sit this one out for a little bit. But once we get through this rain on Wednesday, I think we'll probably start to see that pollen, especially late this weekend into the weekend. Telling us, like Anthony said, we're not far away.
You know, we got an email today, Chris, asking about including pollen forecasts into the app. I found a phenomenal data source from the Google AI weather model, which already has, like, by the weekend in Texas, pretty much high across the board. Tree pollens, grasses, weed. It's going to be here any second now. I might even get outside and enjoy some cold come Friday.
So we'll have something else to complain about. Not the cold, it'll be the sniffling and sneezing and all that. This came from our friend Mr. Jim up there in Canada, and they have their own groundhog up there. It's Wyerton Willie.
Yes.
And he said in early spring. So, I mean, the Canadian one, there you go.
I mean, we use the Canadian model sometimes, so we'll go with that too. Canadian groundhog.
Something good for snow forecasting.
Well, this groundhog's good for spring forecasting, so I like it. But yeah, all fun. It's a fun holiday. National Weather Person's Day is on Friday too. Not that I'm one to celebrate myself, but it's a weather-filled week of holidays.
It is. Well, actually, it's Thursday, I think.
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't even remember where we are on the calendar anymore.
Well,
We
I
look
mean,
every day.
it's different. You should notice from all of the greeting cards. You know, they have like, you know, Valentine's Day, Weather Person Appreciation Day. You should probably, you know, they haven't made the changeover yet at like Target, like to switch to Valentine's Day. So it's all Weather Person Appreciation Day cards right now.
I didn't even know they had those at Target. I think you're pulling my leg.
Oh, maybe just a little bit. Oh, goodness. Well, we appreciate everyone for joining in on the chat. That's what makes it fun. But the good news is it's going to be in the 60s tomorrow, my friends, and it should be pretty sunny as well.
We'll see you next time tomorrow night. Breaking down the rain, I'm sure, in a little more detail. And then everybody's going to be looking ahead to a warm weekend, finally.
We'll see.
cars in the world, like the stylish Camry